Why hello there, my fellow brothers, sisters, gamers, and anime lovers. Buster here again with our reaction video. If you're wondering why is the page not loaded, this is after recording of the stream. So this is the intro and gonna be the outro. This will be the format because I did an 8-hour stream where I did some gameplay, some reactions because it was my birthday and I was busy for the entire day with the stream. And a lot of people joined and followed me. 100 people were there, which is miraculous that everyone was there to support. Thank you, and gave me some a little dono and birthday gifts. Thank you so much. Super chat, super thanks, whatever. I'm happy. Thank you so much for the love and support. You guys are always forever will be my friends in the community, all right? Hope you guys enjoy this content, and I'll see you next time. This is Buster, Future Editing Buster, saying hello. And the one you'll be watching is Livestream Buster. So there's a difference, all right? Hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you guys. Yep, it's gonna be nonsense. All right, this is the Ackman's The Decline of Gaming. Let's get rid of the negative stuff for the first. I'm gonna be cutting this stream up and distributing this as individual videos.
I've been playing video games ever since I was 3 years old, when my
Not
parents
3-year-old in this
substituted
photo.
a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Blue in place of a babysitter. As I grew up, there was so much
True.
to love about gaming. I got to play
For future parents out there, do not, and I repeat, do not use technology as a pacifier for your child. It degrades their brain at an early stage. I'm not speaking from experience, I'm not speaking from anything, I'm just seeing the results of what kind of children grew up if they already have a tablet or a phone as their form of entertainment during their childhood. So, if you guys do in the end find a wife and have a child, my recommendation is just give the child a book so they can learn how to read, and do not get them involved in TikTok. Explain to them what it is, or what the internet is, or the interwebs. Explain to them what kind of a cesspool it is, and prepare them to protect themselves, to be thick-skinned, to not be snowflakes, and not be easily offended like certain people out there. It's just, this is how I do my reactions. I give you some life lessons and stuff, just things of trivia of the entertainment things that I know, and hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, throw a gift my way if you want to. It's up to you. But still, I hope you guys are enjoying this nonsense. I love this. If you don't know what game this is Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2, I think? Outcast. Yeah. It's basically a multiplayer game where you play as a Jedi who can also use blasters. The main character of the story is Kyle Katarn, a former Jedi who lost his connection to the Force. Yeah, that's how much I know about Legends. And I hate Disney. I absolutely hate them for what they did.
and experience countless amazing titles, and witness the industry as it grew
What
and
game is
evolved.
it?
After playing something like Oblivion or Bioshock, Halo 3,
Never
I
played
would just kind
Bioshock.
of sit there and wonder, what's next? However, in the last 9 or so years, it feels like in many ways, the quality of video games, and especially AAA titles, has declined. The industry
Yep.
is always creating something new, innovative, and epic. Gaming as a medium has evolved very quickly in the 35 or so years it's been around. And while there are so many great aspects to love about
Thank you,
this
Kokoro
hobby,
Extra.
just consider this a more pessimistic take on the state of gaming. So what is it that has caused the decline of gaming? No, it's not these old Flash cartoons, but they did inspire the name. It's the same thing that ruins so much of this beautiful world of ours. Insatiable greed.
I activate Pot of Greed! This card allows me to
Implement microtransactions into Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Just to clarify, these are my opinions, based on the
Alright, everyone in the chat, tell me, what ruined games for you? Is it the microtransaction? Is it the crappy graphics? Is it the bugs? Whatever. Just tell me in the comment section, what ruined gaming for you? For me, it's the microtransactions. That's the first step. And then it slowly degrades to even more problems down the line. That gaming is finally just done. I'm just done with gaming because of that. But there are certain games that are still fun to play, and yeah, you can still enjoy them, but still, everything that they did just makes gaming more painful to just do. They make it grindy, they make it hard and difficult. It's just giving you headaches, man. And I pity anyone who does go through that kind of shit. I'm just saying. That's just how it is. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm currently checking out my stream and just doing some managing. I'll be back with you shortly. Gonna post this in the Wattpad community I have that I'm reconstructing because yeah, Wattpad's TOS is a piece of crap that constantly changes and gets you into trouble for no good reason. They should fix that nonsense because yeah, it's annoying as crap. All right, it's posted, and we're gonna get more people up here, and people who don't know, I have a Discord also. I made sure to put that out, and if you want to join, just tell me so I can send you an invite code. And just basically, we're just there to post memes, nonsense, and just discuss how our days been going, how terrible the gaming community is, the tourists that come into our games and ruins our hobbies. That's what we do in the Discord. So yeah, the decline of gaming. Let's go.
Facts that I've researched and observed. If I get something wrong, please feel free to let me know, which I'm sure you all will. For every negative thing that has happened to video games, you could argue an equally positive benefit has occurred, and that's a fair point. Greed is the driving force of this decline. But it gets tricky, because greed, in this case, takes on several forms.
Yes.
No, it's not an overweight Italian man with a ridiculous mustache. It's something both subtle and...
It comes in the form of DLC, paid DLC to be exact, battle pass, egregious battle passes, annoying, cut content that they just repost and just say, you can buy the cut content. Like, F you damn stupid dickwad of a freaking companies who just tears apart our games and just sell it to us like piece by piece. It's like a used car salesman, a washed up used car salesman.
straightforward. Let's not waste any more time on a pleasant intro. Let's jump straight into this. Perceiving the decline. Is it in our heads? It's challenging
Nope.
and overwhelming
It's
to
happening.
tackle the core issues that plague a multi-billion-dollar industry.
43
With so many
point-
different companies, developers,
Yay!
publishers, programmers spread all over the world, is
Screw
it
that
possible
guy.
to categorize and identify this
I see
decline?
what happened to Starfield.
All we need to do is follow the money. So let me just list some things you probably noticed and we'll elaborate on them down the line.
Oh,
1. An increase in buggy, glitchy games. Big
Wow.
budget releases
It
often
feels
have
like
a botched launch.
2000
and are forced to
gaming.
rely on updates to fix their issues. Number
Unacceptable.
2. An overabundance of remakes,
Remasters.
remasters, and sequels. Number 3.
Depends on the type of
corporatization
remaster.
of gaming. The conduct of major companies, publishers, and developers. And of course, number 4. The obvious influx of RNG loot boxes being forced into every genre of game.
The only loot box I would ever approve of is if you can earn it in game just by playing the game. During Overwatch 1, when I was able to join Overwatch 1, I joined when the Overwatch 1 was going to be erased and Overwatch 2 to replace it. I paid for it, although it was fine that I got the Legendary Edition because I got a lot of skins out of it. and a lot of whatchamacallits, it's intro cinematics, outro cinematics, emotes, I think. It really did make a difference for that. But the one thing I approved of about their loot box system is whenever I level up, I reach level 200 plus, I think. Whenever you level up, you get one loot box. And then there's the daily games, I think. I don't know what it's called anymore. It's just every day there's a certain game you have to play which gives you one loot box. So basically, that's the only time I would approve of a loot box. If you can get it for free and you don't need to buy it. It's an incentive to play the game for longer. Like, if I can play more games, if I can play more mini games, or play longer and level up, I can get free cosmetics. But the problem with these companies, there's no such thing as free. You have to do something about it. Yeah, if you want an easy way, because they have to exploit those who have the money to buy their crap. And especially, if you don't know, today, League of Legends, I am a hardcore League of Legends player before, and I stopped for multiple spans of years because of how toxic it became. It just got too much for me, but I come back from time to time. Hey, I can also play League of Legends in this game in my stream today if you want to. It's really up to you. And I was a Lux main. I know that people will be annoyed at me for that, but that's my favorite character. And I splurged a bit on her Elementalist skin. It was worth it because there's multiple variations of the skin that you can use during gameplay. The animations, the teleportation, the ward, the icon. There's a lot you got from the... I don't know how much it was. It's been a very long time. But today, Riot came out with a new skin for Ahri because it was from Faker, one of the top League of Legends players, one of the freaking champions. And it costs around $500 for one skin. I don't know what the package entails, but nothing in gaming would ever make me just give me the compulsion to pay $500 for. My computer is $1,000 plus, and it's doing fine with most of the games I play. That is ridiculous for gaming. It's nothing but a load of crap for me.
And increasingly aggressive monetization schemes. It could be that our own minds play a factor in this as well. Possibly we see the game industry as being worse because we had it so good in the past. Is all the disappointment we have caused simply by us growing older and more jaded? It's entirely possible the negativity we associate with modern gaming is outweighing the more positive innovations that have been made. Games look better, the stories
my Overwatch
more
is
epic,
finally
characters
finished
are
installing,
represented so realistically,
so you can see me play.
Animation vastly improved. My point is, try not to become too overwhelmed with nostalgia for the glory days. And remember that your perception plays a huge part in this decline. What do and don't you have a problem with? That's for you to figure out. But now that we got a solid base for this topic, let's dive deep into the decline of gaming.
Sorry if I'm not paying too much full attention.
Complacency.
I'm stream.
Pleased, especially with oneself
I need to
or
watch
one's
over
merits,
something, so
advantages, situation, often
But I can
without awareness
listen
of
to what
some
he's saying.
potential danger or defect, self-satisfied.
Complacent.
Complacency is probably the biggest
Annoying
deterrent
thing
to
to have.
innovation and quality game design. The perfect example is Valve.
Is that Coach? We used
Once
to make
known
video
for their
games.
unconventional methods of game design and their repertoire of critically acclaimed releases, so many instant classics that to this day are viewed as some of the greatest games of all time. But what about since then?
Looks like there's been a change of plans.
Well, Valve has not made a new game since Portal 2, 8 years ago. And the last time they even launched a new IP was Left 4 Dead. That was 11 years ago. But let's take
But if you look at the longevity of Left 4 Dead, it's still fun to play, especially if you have mods. Smitty and his friends could attest to that. Yup. World Eater Enjoyer, same. I miss Valve. I wish they could have added more to the Left 4 Dead. It's just, yeah, they just pieced out and it's over. It's just they only make a duology, not a trilogy. Because Half-Life 3 never came, Left 4 Dead 3 never came. It's just it's never gonna happen, guys. It's sad. Look, they made Counter-Strike 2, but don't expect a Counter-Strike 3. We will be old people when it comes out ever. Oh boy. Unless you just slap Gabe Newell with so much money in the face, or if Gabe Newell had the willpower to make another one. But still, it's up to him and his company.
Take a quick look at the games they've launched since then. CSGO,
Games.
a remake of Counter-Strike Source, which was a remake of the original Counter-Strike.
Yup,
Dota
I
2,
used to play
a
that.
remake of
LAN.
the Dota mod for Warcraft 3. Counter-Strike Online 2, Koreans only. Counter-Strike
Koreans
Next and
only.
Zombies, free-to-play zombie shooter, no thanks. Left 4 Dead Survivors, Japanese only. The Lab, a series of 8 VR minigames that was more or less just an experiment. Dota Underlords, a mobile version of Dota Auto Chess. Do I need to elaborate? This is the same company that made Half-Life 2, and yet Valve is just content with developing these unremarkable titles? You can really sum up the disappointment gamers have had with this company in the Artifact reveal. Everyone was so hyped to see what Valve was working on. It had been so many years since they came out with a new kick-ass game, and when they revealed it, everyone lost all interest.
Bruh.
A Dota 2
What?
card game. Now the question
What?
is, why did
What, is
Valve
this Yu-Gi-Oh
stop
or
making
some crap?
actual games? What happened to their ambition? Well, as of March 2015, Valve makes $18 million per month off Dota 2 alone.
Wow.
Valve is also, by
No
ratio,
wonder.
one of the most profitable companies with the few
They have so much money they don't need to work anymore. Congratulations, guys. They can just kick their feet up, lean over their lazy chair, and just count the moolah that comes into them passively because of Dota 2. Oh boy, this feels like a League of Legends situation like nonsense. Like, the only thing new about League of Legends is their animations and their skins, and that's just it. There's no other game. I doubt that Riot would ever dare make another game that could even supersede or push League of Legends off the map or the pedestal. It's up to them though, but it's also up to the people to enjoy those things.
fewest employees in America, earning roughly $300,000 per employee. They make 30% of every sale off Steam. They're just rolling in the moolah right now. The chimichangas, the gold bars. If you're making tons
Isn't
of
that
money
supposed
selling
to
the
be
same
painful?
thing for 7 years
Those
and
are
you're
coins.
a businessman, well, why would you stop? Why would you take the risk and time to develop and sell a brand new product when you can simply maintain your current products and watch the profits get dumped straight into your bank account? Oh,
Yup.
hey, Bethesda, how's it going, buddy? Didn't see you there. You still selling Skyrim? There's no question.
Yes, yeah. They went with Starfield, and look what happened there. Nothing but chaos and mayhem. And to the point, they broke the modders to just quit. It was so busted and so buggy that the modders just gave up and just, we're done. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not doing this for free anymore because most modders do things for free that the company exploit. Like last video in Ackman, someone created an Asajj Ventress mod, and Aspire took that Asajj Ventress mod and put it in their game and thought that and made it people think that they made that model. It's like, whoa, you stole the mod from someone else and claim that you put a new character in the game? That's just scummy. That's beyond scummy. If you can support your local modder who gives you quality content more than these people who are paid to do their damn jobs and don't do it correctly, You need to pay those modders right now because they deserve it, because modding takes a lot of work. Seeing some of the people who do tutorials in creating models, I salute you, brother. You guys are the life of the community, the modders.
Question that Valve fans will eat up whatever new game they put out, provided it's the type of game people want. As a consumer, you'd buy Portal 3, you'd buy Left 4 Dead 3, and you'd most certainly buy Half-Life 3. Long awaited and pretty much dead, Half-Life 3 is a perfect example of complacency.
I got nothing to say about Half-Life.
Despite the critical acclaim and unrelenting hype for this title, you'd think Half-Life 3 would be at the top of Valve's priority list.
Nope.
But it never was. Instead, we're getting a VR game. And while it's cool they're finally making another Half-Life, all I can think is, what about the games that people want? You see, Valve and even some other companies need to take lessons from Bono. You know, don't ever stop trying to be in the limelight, keep pushing forward to infinity and beyond. Bethesda and Rockstar are another two clear-cut examples
Yep,
of how
GTA 5 for a
complacency
very
has
long
creeped
time.
into the video game industry.
But the unique thing about GTA 5, the game had all the quality of life that usually has. I can enjoy my yacht, I can enjoy my safe houses, yeah. But the problem is the relentless amount of cheaters that props up that makes me just make a private lobby and just, I don't give a damn if there's anyone walking down the streets. The thing is, it's become so chaotic and so toxic to the point that you can't step out of your safe house and just expect yourself to just survive. Because there'll be some douchebag waiting out there with a sniper rifle or an Oppressor Mark II. Although, I'm half and half with Oppressor Mark II because, one, griefers can use it, but the positives is, I don't have to call my helicopter, I don't have to call my jet if I'm doing a mission that takes me half the map to do. So yeah, it's a half and half thing for me. Your birthday's May 32. Happy birthday to us. Oh, Crazanity! Or Crazanity. I don't know how to pronounce it. Crazanity's birthday is also May 30. Happy birthday to you too. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I should do the song that I think Brian did for Happy Birthday to Me. Have a happy FU to me. Yep, that's how I do it. I have to do a rendition of that song.
Undisputed masters of reselling the same product in as many forms possible. After Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar basically did nothing except update the game.
And we got GTA 6 incoming. But the problem with GTA 6 today is just, I'm afraid. Newer games are now suffering the message that people love to shove down our throats and force us to choke on it. Basically, they just want us to be a certain type of way and robbing us of our free will to choose and decide. It's an insulting thing to do to any gamer. We want to play our own way and we don't give a damn how you play. We just play the game and just enjoy it. But with modern gaming today, we have to play a certain type of way. Don't be toxic, no trash talking, people have easily hurted feelings, people are gonna hurt. It's just the baby way of freaking gaming. Today, modern gaming is for babies. You are babies. If you don't know who I'm trying to voice, you need to learn your gaming history, guys. Everyone is babies. All the people on my team are babies. I just hate how easily offended someone. I called you fat, and then report. How easily triggered are people? I hate the word triggered. I hate it. Trigger words, hate it. You really need to up your freaking... You have to grow thicker skin. What happened to sticks and stone may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Those are the lessons, but people are just... Hold me in peace. Boo-hoo-hoo. Cry me a river, build a bridge, get over it. That's my policy in life. That's how I live my life. And I wish that the rest of you can do that too. Have the strength of character to move forward. Another life lesson for you guys.
Game and port their old games to different platforms. Until 5 years later, they released Red Dead Redemption 2.
Which is cool.
Now again, I'm not saying these are bad games, but if you look back in the 5 years from 2001 to 2006, they were putting out hot shit like GTA 3, Vice City, Midnight Club
Love
2,
Vice City.
Manhunt, Red Dead Revolver, The Warriors, and Bully. Rockstar used to experiment and try new things, developing several IPs at a time and building a library of games to their name. But now they've gotten complacent. Bethesda, meanwhile, had a 5-year wait between Oblivion and Skyrim. That felt like forever, but oh my god, it was worth it. Skyrim was amazing. It flew off the shelves like crazy. All my friends were playing.
You're gonna moan about 5 years? Did you know that Helldivers 2 took 7 years to complete or to be launched? That's longer. There's Helldivers 1, and I'm curious at Helldivers 1. I'm gonna try that game out. If there's a PSN account linking again, I swear to crap, Sony.
in it, and now it's been 8 years since Skyrim, and we basically have no news, gameplay, or anything regarding Elder Scrolls 6. After New Vegas, it took Bethesda 5 years to come out with Fallout 4, a product that was very polarizing amongst the Fallout fanbase, and then 76 releases.
And
Do you
it was
see
a
this
broken
decline?
mess.
It's this complacency, this lack of desire to innovate and create new things that has led to some of our favorite game companies releasing new games far more infrequently. And when they do, it's either something
I'm
you
gonna
don't
wear my
care
socks,
about,
it's getting
or it's
cold.
just another sequel. Despite nearly every single game company fallen prey to complacency, almost none of this applies to Nintendo, who have stuck to their roots and continue to evolve and release new games that blow us away. Nintendo is still doing things the old-fashioned way and making a shit ton of money, while these other game companies are doing things the easy way.
Yup.
Because if it's broken or makes a shitload of money, why fix it? The abundance of remakes and remasters. It's a fact that gaming has followed certain trends throughout the years. You had arcades where you paid quarters for entertainment. In the NES days, it was all about side-scrolling platformers. The SNES and Sega Genesis were all about graphics. Eventually, we had online gaming, rhythm games, battle royale. So many trends have come and gone. Some have stayed,
Battle
but
Royale is
occasionally
still
a
alive,
certain
though.
style of game is perceived as no longer profitable or appealing to the mainstream. 3D platformers, for instance, have long fallen out of favor outside of Mario. In this case, instead of developing a brand new game in a genre
The word mainstream has lost all its meaning for me. I don't care about streamers and let's players. I just enjoy them playing games, not because it's popular. If I love the franchise and they love it too, we are brothers and sisters in arms. It's just us game. I hate the tags like mainstream gaming. Like, we're just all gamers, man. Let's just all enjoy games. Let's just play together in a lobby and just enjoy. There's no need for popularity. It just sucks major dookie that it has to be that way. It's not like I can just play games and people can enjoy watching me play it, or maybe they can also watch it and play their own and go side by side and have the feeling that we're together in this. It's just we play online. For me, it's just to meet new people and have fun. Helldivers 2 was the best experience for me, meeting new people, having mics and having fun, communicating, and role playing. That's what gaming should always have been, but no, not anymore.
that's considered dead, companies will choose to remaster or remake their old ones. And would you look at that, they become hella popular. Who would have thought? Spyro Reignited and Insane Trilogy were incredible remasters. And since those were so successful, don't you think people would be even more happy to see a brand new game starring the Purple Dragon or Lovable Bandicoot? But there's been no
Ovid.
such announcement, aside from
Nice
a
name.
remaster of Crash Team Racing. You can do pretty incredible things with a remake.
Yup,
Sometimes it
Resident
turns an
Evil.
outdated game into something completely new, effectively remaking it to be as good as you thought it was back then. Remakes are a great way for new gamers to experience the magic of the past without the daunting task of playing something that looks like this. Or it can be a method for the developers to add on to their old project and give it some new bells and whistles.
I miss
A
dual
remaster is
wielding.
capable of bringing
Why
old
is
games
that
up
not
to
an
speed
Infinite?
with several quality of life changes and making it the definitive way to experience an old title. It can be pretty awesome when they port something to a newer console so that you don't have to buy an old expensive copy of it, like Symphony of the Night and other Castlevania games being ported to Xbox. That shit's cool. The problem arises when companies become more content to resell you their old games than they are to make new ones. It's become a meme how many different
Silent
versions
Hill?
of Skyrim Bethesda has churned out. Legendary Edition, Skyrim Special Edition, Remastered, Skyrim on Switch, Skyrim now with mods, Skyrim for VR. In April 2013, Bethesda announced via their blog that they were moving on from Skyrim and preparing to work on other projects. Yeah, that's a
Starfield.
fucking laugh. Skyrim Pinball Edition. At moments, some remasters just bank off
What?
your nostalgia and try to parade their old game as something new by slapping an HD at the end of the title. All I'm saying is, there weren't a whole lot of remakes or remasters back on the N64, PlayStation, Xbox, PS2, or GameCube. And that's because they were focused on creating new games. In fact, I can only think of one remaster from those consoles. Conquer Live and Reloaded, which made the game look so freaking sexy. The visuals are still impressive to this day, and they even launched a brand new multiplayer mode that was just awesome. But nowadays,
What the
some
hell was
remasters
that?
are just a shameless cash grab, where you can see a side-by-side comparison and notice no difference. But hey, at least they added some extra dirt on the glass for BioShock Remastered. Take my $40. Remember the
40
original
bucks all
port of
for
Dark
that.
Souls
Thanks.
on Steam? Yeah, it was so fucking lazy and busted, they didn't even
Hey, Ovid.
swap out the button prompts from the
Thank you.
Xbox 360 version. I mean, holy shit. And then From Software comes out with Dark Souls Remastered, an actual, real port of the game. And they charge people $40 to play Dark Souls with a
If
revitalized
you guys want to
PvP
see your name
community.
up there,
And
you can
even
either
DS
subscribe or
Remastered
do
didn't
this.
bother to fix several
Lisa Dolan,
game-breaking
thank you
glitches,
once again for
highlighted
what you
in this
gave me
wonderful
before.
Inferno Plus video. Companies will also take it a step further. EA turned Dungeon Keeper into a blatant pay-to-win dumpster fire mobile game. Activision not only released Modern Warfare Remastered bundled with Infinite Warfare, but later added loot boxes and paid weapons into a game that didn't have those things in 2007.
Not those.
Some games like Sleeping Dogs, Last of Us will come out with a remaster 1 or 2 years after it released. You expect me to believe technology
Buy the game
advanced so
again
far in
after
that
2
time
years?
span that a 1-year-old
What is
game
this? A
now
cell
considered
phone?
out of
Every
date?
year there's a new cell
It's nice to
phone?
improve a game's stability, frame rate, and resolution, but is all that really worth buying the exact same product again? My
No.
point is a lot of companies aren't willing to take risks anymore. It's disheartening to remember a time when the original Xbox was a haven of original, awesome, exclusive titles, and now the Xbox
How the
One
mighty
doesn't
have
even seem to
fallen.
be competing. This trend of lazy remasters and remakes brings me to my next point. Chasing trends. Early
Yup.
access.
Oh
Hey
no,
guys,
not
please
that one.
excuse the
Never
shitty quality of
pre-order.
this section. My video is still in early access, and you can donate to my Patreon to help fund my willingness to sit at a computer and edit. In an effort to capitalize on whatever is currently most
That's
popular,
just-
plenty of game studios will just shamelessly rip off others or rush out some basic-ass shell of a game. Remember Lawbreakers? Man, didn't do so hot trying to copy
What
Overwatch.
kind of-
so how
what
about Boss
kind
Key
of
Productions
face-
just
what?
copies Fortnite
What
and
design
PUBG
was
and
that?
launch a
What is
shitty
he,
battle
a
royale?
manta ray
that
or
should bring in
something?
the money. Radical Heights, good god. Oh wow, this battle royale craze is really taken off. Let's release a brand new game that's completely fucked, abandon our old one, and alienate our fan base. The Culling 2 proved just how desperate some developers really are.
Culling 2
of
has
course, it
2
would take too much time and
players.
effort
The
to fix
fuck?
PUBG before porting it to Xbox, so they just, oh my god, burn it all. They somehow made it worse.
PUBG.
Kind of shocking how a company that made all the money in King Tut's castle didn't use any of it to improve the game. Instead, they just wanted more. And then Titanfall made advanced movement popular. Well shit, of course Call of Duty and Halo has to adapt that into their games, even if the developers don't understand what makes the movement good, even if it compromises the design style and identity of their franchises. Just copy it. I don't care if it works. If it's unintuitive, janky, and sucks ass, just copy them. Do what they're doing. A lot of these game series used to kind of just go their own way, and I miss that. The term early access has now been hijacked by companies who are too lazy to call their games complete, or admit they're never going to finish them. It used to mean you had early access to the game, and often it was like an indie title led by a small team that you understood didn't have the big budget some other games have and needed additional funding. But now all it means is the game is going to be a buggy mess and you can't be mad at them because, hey, it's just in early access. Even if they make billions of dollars, Bluehole and Epic will continue to call Fortnite and PUBG early access titles. Then you got all those shitty-ass zombie survival games. My buddy brought over 7 Days to Die one time, and after playing it for 5 minutes, I was like, dude, you got fucking scammed. You buy this shit from Jose in the back alley behind a strip club? Like, what the fuck is this? Once esports really started to take off, developers started tailoring their games to be competitive. Everyone wanted their product to break into esports
Here
territory,
comes the
and that
Sweat
can really mess with the
Lords!
project's vision. When all you're worried about is chasing
that type of gaming should, if they want competitive, they should create a branch of the game in just esports. I don't want to fight all the time against competitive sweat lords in my games. I just want to just go in, blast around, just enjoy, dick around with some random people and just make friends if we can. That's just how gaming should be, not something that we can just smack talk each other, sweating while we're sweating like freaking swamp ass. Just, yeah, that's not how what gaming should have been. I can get some people like watching esports, like treating it like a football game or a baseball game, but that's just ridiculous.
the most popular trends and the cash flow, you get all these half-assed games releasing, and suddenly the desire to create something new is replaced with the desire to copy others. Games as a service, updates, online only, broken launches, etc. The ability to patch a game after its release was one of the biggest revolutions in game development, allowing teams to continue their work before going gold. Bug fixes, balance updates, and more were now possible.
No balancing,
even when a
please,
game comes
nerfing
out and you
crap.
buy it on launch day, it has an update, because the developers are still working on it after they started shipping copies. Nowadays, you can fix, tweak, and save your ass as a developer with this luxury of post-launch support. Overwatch is a prime example of when it's utilized well. It needed several updates to become what it is today. Without them, most people would have gotten bored of the game. The idea of constantly adding new content and features to engage players and keep them coming back is good for both the gamers and the companies. However,
Not
it's
anymore.
when the games as a service philosophy starts enveloping every stage of design, when developers rely too much on fixing the game and adding to it after launch, that we see gaming decline. Halo 5 Guardians straight out the gate had like a 7-month plan of content. Why didn't you work that into the 3 years of development you had? You compare Spec Ops and Modern Warfare 2 and 3, and there's no mistake that everybody prefers those versions to the 2019 version, where it now takes Infinity Ward 1 month to get 2 missions out. 10 years ago, they launched a game with 23 of them. The difference is crystal clear in how games are developed. You look at something like
It takes
KOTOR
time.
2, Halo 2, and Smash Bros. Melee. These games all had hellish development cycles that devoured the lives of the people working on them. These heroes
I hope they get their
sacrificed
money's
time
worth.
with their families just to complete the game when it was supposed to be done,
Hard
so
work
that we, the
over
consumers,
laziness.
got the best product
Thumbs up!
possible. Despite
Developers.
the many bugs, glitches, and general lack of polish in these 3 highly anticipated
What
sequels,
the- what?
they turned out phenomenal because neither Obsidian,
What the
Bungie,
fuck?
or Nintendo
What happened
could
to Bowser?
depend on simply fixing the game after the fact. Not having that luxury put the pressure on. Now with the luxury of post-launch support, compare the content from Halo 2 to the latest game, Guardians. At launch, Halo 5 had 4 game modes, the lowest in the series, and it took a whole year of updates to make Halo 5 a somewhat complete package. What Halo 2 accomplished in its 3 years of development back in 2004, Halo 5 needed an extra year after it was already out in 2015. But this isn't just exclusive to Halo, it happens to every game series.
Yes!
Where the gears stop turning and something as simple as launching a game in a playable state becomes an urban legend, a myth. Bad Company 2 launches perfectly and works fine. Then DICE drops Battlefield 3, 4, and Battlefront 2, which all had nightmarish issues and simply didn't work. It gets so
That's so
ridiculous to the
scarce.
point where you wonder if the games they put out are actually illegal because the product doesn't work as advertised.
What
And you
the
got
hell
something
is
like
that?
COD World War II where even the menus didn't work.
Trying to be a
You look at
SEAL,
how Mass
Mr.
Effect
Navy
1 came
SEAL?
out back in 2007, pretty damn good. Mass Effect Andromeda 10 years later somehow looked worse and was a glitch-ridden disaster. Diablo 1
Is
and
that
2,
supposed to
absolute
happen?
masterpieces. Diablo 3 is coming out. People have been waiting over a decade to experience this game. It
Here comes the
releases in
disappointment.
Era 37. You can't play the game until Blizzard figures their shit out. Then you had Dead Island, where the developers completely fucked up and released the wrong version of the game. How
What?
does that happen? SimCity was made to be always online, except you couldn't connect to EA's shitty-ass servers. Batman Arkham Knight was knowingly pushed out onto PC despite
Arkham
the
Knight?
publishers knowing it was a terrible port with horrific frame rate issues.
no.
I'm not saying every game from the glory days launched in a perfect state, but these unplayable disasters happen far less frequently, and at the time, I was way more forgiving of them. And then we arrive at the Master Chief
I feel they
Collection,
shipped the game
which
without
was a
even
testament
playing
to
it.
just
Yes!
how broken you could release a
Yes, Ovid! That's what it is! There's a reason why people use beta testers or even alpha testers to go check out the game if it works. Their job was primarily to go look for bugs. If I walk to this wall and I get stuck in it, I need to write that down in my report and give it to the developers. This happened in this place at this, and this is what I did to cause that. And once they have that information, they will try and fix it. But the problem is, I think they did to save money is to not beta test their crap and launch it and use the player base, us, to be the beta testers to see it in game and just complain and moan about it on their freaking social media for them to patch, update. It's the laziest form. They save money to do less work. What a load of shit.
game and somehow not be investigated by the Better Business Bureau. This atrocity was so unplayable, I'm surprised there was no class action lawsuit filed. The new cutscenes by Blur were jaw-dropping, but it's hardly any consolidation when nothing worked. Menus were fucked, game glitches everywhere, impossible to find games,
This is getting
ranking
depressing
system
right now.
constantly resetting. 343 needed like 3 or 4 years to make MCC a consistently
3 or 4
playable
years.
game.
Oh,
3 to 4
that's
years
just
after I
abysmal.
bought the game, I was finally able to play it the way they promised I could.
So Halo 2 Anniversary will contain the original Halo 2 multiplayer exactly as it shipped 10 years ago.
Though this is a subjective point, take a look at these MMORPGs. World of Warcraft changed the gaming landscape as we knew it and really gave rise to the games as a service philosophy with monthly subscriptions, new expansions. It was a nice source of cash flow, and for players that enjoyed the game, it was the greatest thing ever. WoW has been consistently supported for like 15 years, and that's great. But here's an important point hardly ever mentioned.
If the stream
Warcraft
is
as a
lagging,
series
remember
has
to
been an
refresh, guys.
MMORPG longer than it has been a real-time strategy. Despite 3 games with multiple expansions, the reason Warcraft 4 does not exist is because WoW does. Similarly, the reason why Knights of the Old Republic 3 does not exist is because the Old Republic does. Elder Scrolls 6 does not exist yet because they've been working on Elder Scrolls Online. For better or worse, these incredible series of games have converted to the games as a service philosophy. They've turned their backs on their roots. EA is infamous for shutting down several game studios, including Visceral, who were working on a single-player
Space.
Star Wars game. But because single-player games can't really be
Single-player
made
Star
into a
Wars?
service, EA saw this venture as not as profitable and shut it down. It's actually surprising
They
when
want
something
more
like
money.
Jedi Fallen Order comes out with no caveats and is a genuinely great game. But in the 6 or so years EA has had the rights to Star Wars, this is the first single-player game they've put out. Flashback to the early 2000s, oh baby, Jedi Academy, Republic Commando, KOTOR 1 and 2, Episode 3 game, Lego Star
Where's
Wars,
Jedi
Bounty
Outcast?
Hunter, Obi-Wan, Force Unleashed, Battlefront 1 and 2, Empire at War. Star Wars games were off the fucking hook, but EA is just complacent now. We
Yep,
live in a time where
same.
the updates a game
They're
goes through
all
are more
same.
impactful than the actual release.
Lazy
And
bunch
it's
of
the ship it now,
saps.
fix it later mentality
Bums.
that is allowing companies to churn out so many titles that suck straight ass when they come out. A video game should never be a gamble where the consumer doesn't know if it's going to function or not. Corporatization,
Oh,
anti-consumer.
no.
Probably the worst
This is
thing
what
about
Sony
the
did to
decline of
Helldivers.
game is the corporatization
What a load of
it.
crap.
The game industry is becoming more and more controlled by some board of directors who don't see this hobby as you or I do. They aren't thinking, how can we
There's a reason why Helldivers works, because their CEO is also a gamer and they love making games. That's why it was fun. Fun. Guess who I'm referencing? It's just, it was made by a gamer. Just like how Lethal Company also was made by one person and they didn't need a board of directors. It was a ton of fun and you can mod it for freely, and it was more fun than anything that was released for so long. They go ahead and say, oh, hey, look here, here's an update that should have been in the game on release. Ovid, spitting fire and straight facts, man. That is true. Everything you've been saying right now is on point with these morons. Especially this dipshit. How's Starfield doing, you dick?
make the best game possible? How can we make our fans happy? They're thinking, how can we make the most money with the least amount of effort?
hate this
There
man
are
too.
investors to please, deadlines to meet. Game development used to be just a bunch of nerds pooling their talents and creativity to make something incredible, something they would want to play.
No, it's
Corporatization
just a
has
bunch
been
of
sucking the life and
tuxedos
soul out of gaming.
debating
This is
how much
illustrated
money
by
they
the
can
complete
make.
lack of originality in the cover art of games. Check out this video by Nakey Jakey, it's really good, but it showcases a
box
greater
art.
point: the lack of soul. It'd be foolish to condemn all pre-order bonuses, microtransactions, DLC, etc., because
Oh,
only a
that
Sith deals
well-known
in absolutes. But you're the consumer. What do you want? Do you want cool, meaningful, cosmetic unlockables that showcase
The word consumer is a negative term for me because all we do is just consume. How about a customer? Who is your patron? Who gives you support in your patronage? For goodness sake, it's a transaction between two people. The problem with these jerk-offs is we're nothing but dogs to them. Like, here my table scraps, enjoy them. Ugh, what a bunch of dickheads.
your accomplishments? Okay, what's the ideal way for the player to unlock them? Ask yourself this question first. Is this good for the player? Is it good
No,
for the player to
no,
unlock gameplay altering?
No, asshole. No. Is this good for the player? No. I will take the most iconic quote from Reggie from Nintendo. Salute to Iwata. He's gone. Satoru Iwata is gone. May his soul rest in peace. Reggie said, if it's not fun, why bother? Why bother? Epic words from a good man like Reggie. If it's not fun, why even bother, guys? A grindy game, exhausting enough as it is. It's like I'm doing chores.
Abilities or cosmetic items in monetized randomized loot boxes? Is that a form of progression and unlocks that is beneficial to the player? Of course not. So why do companies include it? Because the well-being of the consumer and the quality of the experience is secondary to what's most profitable.
Ovid, a little bit of warning. One of the things you typed in chat has been held for review. I noticed it on my phone over here. Please do not curse on chat. This, I'm moderating it as much as possible, and some of my moderators are also doing it too. Please do not curse. Be polite, be respectful in the chat. please. That's all I ask. No cursing, no fighting.
Profitable. Back during the 360, PS3, and Wii generation, players noticed there was a lot more downloadable content than the previous generation. In fact, the GameCube didn't even connect to the internet.
Yep.
But now it seems like loot boxes
Offline
are far
turned
more
online.
numerous. That's because companies realized DLC was only a one-time purchase. But what if there was a way to turn players into payers? Consistently doing that would yield high results. Then you got all those season passes where companies want you to put up $50 based on a promise. As video games become more and more expensive to make, the price of a new release
More
has
expensive?
stayed the same for decades.
How?
And while any business, big or small, needs to make a profit, the lengths some companies go to monetize their games is absurd. Sometimes being so greedy to the point where they will compromise the design of their game. 343 and Creative.
Hold on, what's this? It's not laziness, it's greed. They just do this for money. This is what they do. They go ahead and hype up a game. They hype up a game saying this will be the best game this year, but that is not true. They're only saying so you can think about buying it. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know what song that was, but it sounded familiar to me.
Assembly went so far in this direction, crafting a mode specifically to integrate loot boxes into Halo
Oh my-
Wars 2
even
and
Halo
create a
2?
pay-to-win model. Madden and FIFA Ultimate Teams.
Oh, come
wow,
on,
those
Halo
are so
Wars.
cool, ruined by pay-to-win loot boxes. Battlefield 1 and 4 offering literal shortcuts through the progression system. Think about that for a second. The designers created the system of XP, how it is earned, how much it takes to unlock things, and then decided to monetize a way for players to skip it entirely. Bungie literally cutting and reselling parts of Destiny 1 and 2 as DLC, making shaders consumable so players will have to buy them again. Was not a decision made for the
freaking
benefit of the
hell,
player. Forza
shaders?
5 offering just as many payable cars
All right,
as ones
all right. You monetize everything. We saw what they monetized. The color blue from Angry Joe. You monetize even armor coatings. You monetize the guns. You monetize the extra designs and add-ons to armor and clothing design. What else are you gonna monetize? Are you gonna monetize the air we breathe too? Huh? The only thing left to monetize is my freaking dick. What a load of crap this is. This is just beyond. I'm getting just triggered with this. I wanted to finish this first so we can get the negative out of the way and just have fun for the remainder of the day.
you earn in game. The list
This
of
feels
DLC
like
for The
today,
Sims
right
alone is fucking staggering. Middle-earth Shadow of War, a single-player game, chose the loot box method of delivering rewards to players. Dead Space 3 interrupting the game to ask you to buy more parts. Train Simulator 2015 offering over $4,000 of DLC.
What?
Purchasable weapons in Black Ops 4 giving people an advantage. Microsoft charging
Pay
you to
to
remove
win!
ads on
No!
Solitaire. Fucking microtransactions in Solitaire. Then for some games, it can get so bad that functional microtransactions become more important than a functional game. I couldn't get into matches in COD World War II when it came out, but you bet your ass I could buy loot
I want to
boxes.
scream right now.
And then Fallout 76. Wow. Easily one of the most embarrassing, blatant, empty cash grabs the industry has ever seen. Do you, as a player, want to have sections of the video game you bought sealed into randomized crates that are paid for with real money? Hell no. There's always a better alternative. Titanfall 2 is the shining example. It might not make the most money, but there's no bullshit involved. What you see is what you get, and the game isn't any worse or better off because of it. Companies have tried seemingly every slimy, underhanded tactic to get you to pay just a bit more. Metal Gear Survive had the audacity to charge people $10 for
Metal
an extra
Gear-
save slot. In Modern Warfare 2, you had to grind for those extra custom class slots. But in recent games, you could just buy them. Like, is that where we're at now? Valve and Bluehole opened up avenues to skin betting, selling and trading with other players, which leads to gambling websites,
Oh,
the notorious
no.
shitlords
What?
like
Is
T-Mart
that
and
even
Pro
legal?
Syndicate trying to make money off this infamous CSGO Lotto scandal. The increasingly aggressive monetization of video games had gotten so out of hand that it attracted the attention
Fort.
of several world governments. I mean,
Hold on. What the hell? A US senator is pushing a bill to stop Fortnite and other games from selling loot boxes to kids. Here's why loot boxes are causing so much panic. Because it's freaking predatory! Those kids are gonna waste money on nothing! I remember growing up, going through the same thing on other things. But I learned how to manage my own money. This is just scummy. This is scummy to the highest degree right now. This is just beyond scum.
and that it attracted the attention of several world governments.
Oh, boy.
I mean, if you look at those leaked patents by Activision, it tells you everything. The intent is right there. Adhering to these patents, they want to make you as addicted as possible to spending money. They want to control you. That's why Bungie decided to throttle how much XP you got. I bet they wouldn't have done that if they weren't trying to sell me bright engrams. The decline of gaming has manifested in so many different ways, and it hurts to talk about. The game industry I knew and loved has just gotten complacent with lazy titles, trend-chasing garbage, half-assed remasters, corporatization, over-monetization, and a lack of drive to create something new. Games as a service and early access become crutches for developers to lean on, and when fans get upset at how dysfunctional and empty their latest release is, or wonder why game-breaking issues continue to exist, they use early access, or we're working on it, as their shield. Don't get me wrong, the good stuff is still out there, but you have to find it amongst all the noise. But with all this shit that's changed for the worse in gaming, it's starting to feel like a soulless assembly line production, and the way companies treat their consumers is making me lose faith in this industry. And that is how gaming has declined.
Alright. That's it for now about this decline of gaming. Let's have some fun. I think this is a birthday stream, so anything can happen. Reaction or gameplay. So, enough with this. And I'll see you next time. So be there or be square.